list, I'm recommending romance books. It's the least surprising plot twist that ever could have happened. I thought that this would be a fun video because I really enjoy romance books and books with romance in them. So I have a couple of my personal favorites, and let's just get into it. We're going to start out with some of my favorite contemporary romances, and there's some of these are series or part of anthologies, but these ones are my favorite out of those series, or they're just standalones. So let's get cracking. My first recommendation is from B.K. Borrison. I haven't read a lot of B.K. Borrison, but everything that I have read, I have loved. So this one is First Time Caller, and it's inspired by Sleepless in Seattle, and I just loved the main characters in this book. I enjoyed that the female main character was working as a mechanic in like a male-dominated work environment, and it was fun to see her like shop that she worked at and her quest to find love on a late night talk show host with a guy named Aiden. And like, I just really enjoyed both of the characters in this. It was a really fun setting to be in a late night talk show, you know, like on the air radio kind of environment, and I loved it. Yep. I would recommend this one if you like old rom-com movies like Sleepless in Seattle. I know this author is releasing some others in the same series, and I'm really looking forward to those. Next is another author I adore. Big surprise. Pretty much all of these authors I love, okay? This is Sounds Like Love from Ashley Poston. This is a romance book about a struggling songwriter who she's burnt out and lost her interest in writing songs. She's really struggling creatively, and part of why she's struggling creatively is because her mom is sick, and she goes home for the summer trying to rejuvenate herself, get her creative stuff back in order. And while she's at home, she starts hearing someone else's thoughts, and she has a telepathic connection with another person. I really love the main character in this book as well. Her name is Joni Lark. She's a hard worker. She's a perfectionist. She is struggling with burnout, which I, as an artist and an autistic person, have experienced in many different ways. And it just was lovely. I've really enjoyed all of Ashley Poston's work because they're all magical realisms. There's like small supernatural elements or magical elements within these contemporary romances, and I just eat it up every time. I've loved all of her books that I've read, but I think this one is my favorite so far, which is why it's on the list. This is the third book in the Maple Hills novels, and it is called Daydream by Hannah Grace. Out of all three of the books in the series, this one was my favorite. I loved both of these characters so much. The main character, Henry, is an autistic young man, and I just love reading romance books in which the main characters are neurodiverse in one way or another. It just makes me feel so happy. And this one is so great, you guys. I don't even know what else to say. It's like a whole like she tutors him kind of type deal, and I just love that. I am a sucker for that. And so I think that's why it was my favorite out of the three in the series, but the whole series is pretty good, so. But I'm recommending this one specifically. The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. Yet again, we have a book about neurodiverse people. I'm not sure if it's... Oh yeah, okay, it is. It is explicitly stated that the main character, Stella, is autistic. The main character in this book, Stella, is also neurodiverse, and she struggles a lot with perfectionism, a lot with OCD specifically, and she struggles with her family's expectations of her. So Stella hires an escort to help her practice kissing so that she can get better at it. It sounds so silly, and it is, but I love this one so much. It was really comforting to read about a driven woman who struggles and works on it. That sounds so basic. There's more to it than that, but it was lovely. Let's move on. The last two in my just like standalone romances, I do not have in person. I listened to one of them on Audible and then the other one I read on my Kindle. And the first one I read on Kindle is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Herbert. Get a Life, Chloe Brown is about Chloe Brown who has a near-death experience and then she decides to make a bucket list to do things to go outside of her comfort zone and to experience life and experience living before she dies. She also has a chronic illness. I think she has fibromyalgia, and which is kind of like the thing they diagnose you with if they don't know exactly what's wrong with you other than it's hard. And she gets to know her like building manager slash like maintenance man named Red, and one of her goals is to like ride a motorcycle. He has a motorcycle. So she just kind of goes through her list trying to explore more things and to live more loudly and authentically. I really enjoyed this one. I thought Chloe Brown was a very endearing character and her chemistry with Red was really, really fantastic. I really liked this one. Okay, buckle up. This next section is dedicated to series. All of these, every single book, I love and enjoy in the whole series. That's why I'm recommending the entire series, okay? Okay, let's get started. First one is on my other side, the Books of Bayern series by Shannon Hale. In case you can't tell by my beat up, old, yellowed, falling apart copy, I love this book. The first one is The Goose Girl, and this one is a retelling of The Goose Girl, which is an old fairy tale. And it's so whimsical and just Shannon Hale really knows how to write a romance. There's a lot of nostalgia here for me in this series, but I reread them pretty frequently. I really love the second book in this series as well, and there's 4 altogether. This book follows Princess Anadori as she is set up in an arranged marriage to go marry the kingdom far, far away. On her journey there, her handmaiden betrays her. They try to kill her, and then the handmaiden takes Princess Annie's place. And Princess Annie then goes by a different name and has to work as a servant, or she works as the Goose Girl. And it's a great story about like learning your privilege and learning how to keep fighting for the things that you believe in, even if it seems really, really hopeless. And the 2 characters that fall in love in this book, I just feel so tender about their relationship and the way that they speak to each other, and it's just lovely. That's why I'm recommending this whole series. Next up is the Carry On series. Okay, oh, that's funny. These are like kind of low-key backwards. I love these books. These books were recommended to me by my sister, who in high school, she read all of these. And as soon as she read the first one, that was the only one that was out when she found it, she came into my room at 3 a.m. and promptly told me the entire story. It like talked like nonstop all night long about how great it was. I didn't read it for a while, and then I did read it, but it had been long enough that I had forgot what she told me happened. It's so good, you guys. This is a wizarding school, and it follows the chosen one, and he does not want to be the chosen one, and it follows his roommate, who he has convinced himself is a vampire, but like nobody else believes him. It's interesting because it takes place at the end of the wizarding school. Like, you know, you don't get like year 1, year 2, year 3. They're like on year 6, and it follows their adventures and their rivalry. This is also a queer book series. There are a lot of queer people in this book, and the main love interests are both gay. I just love this book, and if one more person recommends a different top-selling wizarding series, I punch them and I say, no, this is the one. This is the one. Anyway, it's really good, and all 3 books all have very different vibes and different goals, and they all are great. I don't know what else to say. Rainbow Rowell, the master that you are. Funny enough, these 2 characters actually came from another book that she wrote called Fangirl, and she loved them so much in that book that she ended up writing the series. We have Carry On, Wayward Son, and Any Way the Wind Blows. My final series I'm recommending is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Peruse your eyes on my beautiful copies of Once Upon a Broken Heart, my beautiful copy of A Curse for True Love, my beautiful copy of The Ballad of Never After. I love these books so much. When I read them on my Kindle, and I devoured all of them very quickly. I luckily hopped on board by the time all 3 were published. I was a little bit late to the game. This is also the first Stephanie Garber series I've read. I didn't read Caraval first, even though that's what most people do. Oopsies. Once Upon a Broken Heart follows Evangeline, who is a serious enjoyer of romance and true love. She is like the classic hopeless romantic. She believes all things will happen the way they need to. She believes that her true love has been her true love her whole life and that she will love him forever. Until her true love gets engaged to another woman. And she is convinced herself that he is cursed, so she makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts in an effort to undo his curse, and she makes a deal with this scary immortal, basically. And he agrees to help her under this condition of blah, 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 blah. It's really great. It follows her as she enters into a much more magical world than what she grew up in. I liked the idea of these immortals of like the Prince of Hearts and these other kind of like card feeling archetypes. It's really great. I read all 3 very quickly. It's very whimsical as well, and I love Eva's relationship with Jax, and it gets crazy. It just gets crazy, okay, you guys? There's a lot of like prophecies in here and like misunderstanding what they actually mean until the end, which I love that. And so yeah, read it if you want to read it. Don't read it if you don't want to read it. Next up, I have 2 more standalone recommendations, but these 2 are just like generic fantasy recommendations that have romance in them. The first one I finished yesterday, and I had to put it on this list because it was so delightful, and that is Behooved by M. Stevenson. Behooved follows a young woman who is set up in another arranged marriage, and on her wedding night, something happens and her husband gets turned into a horse. It's so silly. It's another whimsical read. I was giggling and kicking my feet the whole time I read this. I read it for a 24-hour readathon that I spontaneously decided to do this weekend, and it was a joy. It's a joy. If you like werewolves, but you think that they should have hooves instead of paws, then you should read this book. Next up, this was my top read of 2025, and that is The Everlasting by Alix E. Harrow. I'm normal about this book. I'm normal about the characters in this book, which is Mallory. His name is Mallory, which is my name. Well, it's his last name. Yeah, Owen Mallory, which is crazy. I've never read a book with someone with my name before. And then Sir Una Everlasting, which is like, she's the world's most powerful and well-known knight. Owen Mallory is a historian, and Sir Una is a huge, strong, big woman, and they are so important to me. This book has some time travel elements in it, and it is very well done, which I have a hard time enjoying time travel because I think it's really difficult to do well. But Alix Harrow doesn't struggle with that. They knocked it out of the park. I loved the atmosphere in this book and the storytelling. Like, the prose felt so medieval and floral and fantastic. And I love like that Arthurian time, you know? Knights at the Round Table. I love it. And I mean, this cover is gorgeous. Like, what the hell? Okay, the last one on my list for this section is it's currently an Audible original or like an audio only, and that is Bound by Ali Hazelwood. You guys! I love this book so much. I loved the performance from the audiobook narrators, and it follows Varro, who is a sidelines as a criminal, but mainlines as like a restorer for old books and old tomes. She gets wrapped up in a task by Dr. Victor Ashworth, who's a vampire, to replicate an ancient tome that she comes to find out is important to his backstory and his vampiric lore. But they're not really called vampires in this book, they're called revenants. It was fantastic. I loved the main characters again. Having good characters is really important to me in order to enjoy a book, and the chemistry between these two was great as well. I enjoyed the spin that Ali Hazelwood took on vampires in this book, and I dabble in bookbinding myself, so it was really fun to read about a character who's also a bookbinder and who literally does that as a job, and like these like restorations of ancient artifacts, and also maybe she sometimes makes really, really believable fake artifacts so she can make money. She's a criminal. I think that's fun. Read this book if you like Twilight but you thought they all should go to jail. For this last section, I have a couple of romances that I am looking forward to but I haven't read yet. And these are all upcoming releases that will come to fruition soon-ish. The first one in this list is And Now Back to You by B.K. Borrison. This is a book that follows First Time Caller. It's part of the Heartstrings series. And I cannot wait. This is another contemporary romance, and it follows two rival meteorologists on the Weather Channel. Look, she just can't do wrong in my eyes, you guys. I am so excited for this one. It comes out February 24th, so I'm counting down the days, and it will be very soon when I can hold this in my hand and read it. Next is Cherry Baby by Rainbow Rowell. I am so excited. I love Rainbow Rowell's contemporary romances along with her fantasy, and this one just looks really good, and I love the cover. The cover is beautiful. This one follows Cherry, who is in the process of getting a divorce because her soon-to-be ex-husband is a jerk, and she is a plus-sized woman who her ex-husband puts her in his graphic novel, but like super caricatured fat girl. So it follows Cherry as she tries to take control of her own life again and learns to try to be like love herself, and she meets someone who loves her just the way she is. I am so intrigued and so excited for this one. I cannot wait to read it. It comes out April 14th. The final one in my upcoming releases is Smash or Pass by Birdie Shea. You guys, this one is a sapphic volleyball camp. Wait, okay, sorry. That's a bad way to explain it. It takes place at a volleyball camp and the book is sapphic. I love sports romances, and I have read a sport romance before that had to do with volleyball players, and it was really great as well. And so I'm really looking forward to this one, and it's even better that it's two women falling in love. So on May 12th, I will be buying a copy because that is when it comes out. Thank you so much for watching all of my book recommendations. I hope you have added a couple more titles to your TBRs, and please tell me some of your favorite romance books down in the comments because it's Valentine's Day soon and I need to read more romance books because I obviously haven't read enough. And I hope you read something today that makes you giggle. Bye!